So I'd like to quickly, add to yesterday's faculty meeting with NAB, with your group, to add a few things that I probably should have mentioned during the meeting. I just didn't know if I had the place to do it. If you're watching this video, you may be interested enough to see what I have to say. Um, so I wanted to address a couple of the subjects that came up. One was research scholarship. I'm coming from a background as an adjunct now, but prior to that, for 10 years, I consulted with building products manufacturers and had a lot of opportunity to experiment with ideas and make presentations. Those eventually led to more formalized presentations to the Facade Tectonics Group, representing rigidized metals, and then later rigidized metals in Alfred State. That's been able to grow into working and collaborating with other faculty people. My first collaboration was with Bill Dean for the Building Technology Educator Society, and we did a paper on computational design. I want to note that was funded, my travel was funded by the university. Build It and Attend that conference. So our hotel room and conference fees were paid for. And then recently, once again, at Facades Tectonics, we're presenting under an educational component the idea of rain screen systems and modeling systems for students in order to enhance their learning experience. And so Joe Ebert is no longer here. He just recently transferred to California, where his wife got a great job. But there is an attempt to, collaborate and do research that probably wasn't expressed yesterday. This idea of diversity, equity, inclusion, we have a lot of shortcomings in our staff makeup or our faculty makeup, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a strong thrust and an important consciousness about this kind of leveling the playing field, as was brought up. We can bring all kinds of diverse students together, but many of them are coming from hardships that are hindering them or weighing them down from finding success within the collegiate environment or the college environment. And I try to be sensitive to that and create and craft structure for that. For instance, in computer viz, our lecture and lab and our in-class exercise, all the runtime of the laid out time for the course, I have allotted that they can actually complete their projects, so they would literally have no outside homework if they get the task completed within the lab. Sometimes that runs over a bit, but very cognizant of the fact that they may have poorly developed study habits or poor habits with unsupervised time. And so I don't want that to actually trip them up in the very early years of the program. And the university recognizes this idea of this kind of support also with a student success center that's well staffed and very engaged to meet the requirements of students that need that bit of extra help. I'm trying to address that idea of equity and inclusion, and knowing that students come sometimes without powerful software, not powerful software, but graphics cards in their computers. They may have just basic laptops. Some students have actually come into the program with nothing more than a Chromebook. So, and not have the financial wherewithal to purchase a computer. So we have lab computers available, and I've demonstrated in this graphic here. I make a big point in lecture that this was created on a laptop without a graphics card inside of Revit to create high quality rendering. So I try to instruct them how they can, even with limited resources, create good looking products or output, so to speak. The other thing that was brought up was the idea of cross-departmental collaboration, especially in our building. We have just a wealth of opportunity. Partially unexplored. I've tried to start doing some exploration with it. We have a digital media and animation department, which uses very similar software, and actually it's a convergence to what's happening in the world of architectural software, where we're using Unity browsers and Unreal engines to create virtual realities, digital twins. So we have a host of opportunities. All we have to do is really figure out ways that students can participate on a common platform. And on the more technical side, we have an HVAC lab where I could literally take environmental control students over to meet tradespeople, and we could discuss things like heat pumps and actually see working samples of that. A lot of my ability to develop this has been limited by the fact that I am an adjunct, and this is kind of a barrier to, I think, maybe the more successful abilities of adjuncts to participate in the program. Since I've been here 6 years, I've never had the knowledge that I would teach from one year to the next. It's really kind of assumed that I might come back, but it's unfunded, and I don't get a contract until about a week or so before classes start. But within those constraints, because I'm really excited about teaching and I enjoy it a great deal, I think it's a great opportunity I've been given. I've developed 3 courses that really literally don't have a textbook. They're based on project content and lecture content and using web resources. And I've created hundreds of videotapes in order to create what can actually be run as online course content. And all that's happened actually for free. That it's not been a requirement. I could have taken existing coursework, existing textbooks, and not innovated in it. And it's not just to really kind of to toot my horn, so to speak, but it's to say that adjuncts, and I'm only one adjunct of a few. Everyone that I've witnessed has been very passionate about participating in teaching and has brought a whole lot to it. And bringing things that may not be common to people who are coming from professional practice necessarily, bring other attitudes, trajectories about where architecture is going and what it can contribute. And I wish that the department created a more meaningful platform for adjuncts to exist on. So that we could see more long-term contributions. I've actually seen it marketed that they actually try to reduce the amount of adjuncts as if it was a bad thing to have in a teaching or an instructional institution. And I don't see why that can't be turned around and seen as a positive and invigorating part of a program. So thanks for listening, and have a good day.